Hi, I'm Paul McDonald from Down Under Pics. Sorry I can't be with you all tonight. I had hoped to be there in person, but I'm over at Edithburgh diving. Over the last 30 years or so, I've been lucky enough to dive with and photograph sea dragons. And so, if you've been privileged to have close encounters with sea dragons like I have, you'll know what a wonderful and calming experience it can be. Tonight I'm going to talk about diving and photography behaviours around sea dragons. However, most of what I have to say is about responsible diving and photography practices, and this applies to all marine creatures, not just sea dragons. The sand, weed, reef, debris, wrecks, jetty piles, and other bottom or reef structure are all important habitat that supports marine life. As divers, we should always do our best to minimise the impact we have on the marine environment. Firstly, it's good practice to secure any loose equipment like your alternate regulator and pressure gauge so they don't drag or catch on anything. This also applies to shark shields so they don't drag along the bottom. For photographers, this will help minimise backscatter. You can see from this image the diver photographing a leafy sea dragon hasn't secured his equipment and his fins are on the bottom. Next, it's important that we all practice good buoyancy control. As divers and photographers, it is important that we can hover close to the bottom without impacting on it. If you are a new diver or aren't quite confident in your buoyancy control, contact your local dive shop or instructor and enrol in a PADI Peak Performance Buoyancy or SSI Perfect Buoyancy course, or a BSAC Buoyancy and Trim workshop. This will make your diving and photography experiences all the more rewarding. I also recommend that before embarking on your underwater photography or videography journey, you have impeccable buoyancy control. It will make your photography or videography results so much better. Now we are under control of our buoyancy, we should try to move slowly and carefully, being aware of our surroundings, including the bottom, nearby structure, the marine creatures we have observed, and our buddy. We move with no sudden or rash movements. And when moving through the water, try to use a sideways fin kick, not an up and down one. Up and down kicks are fine if you are say 3 or more meters off the bottom, but if you are closer to the bottom or structure, the down pressure wave will impact habitat and nearby marine creatures and create backscatter for photographers. The sideways or frog kick is commonly used by cave divers because it propels divers very efficiently and water turbulence goes directly behind the diver. Okay, so now on to diving with sea dragons, one of my favourite marine creatures. Firstly, while I may be stating the obvious, no touching or holding sea dragons. I shouldn't have to say this one, but I've seen it happen. Also, we shouldn't move, herd or chase dragons. Sea dragons are territorial. Individuals have been sighted in the same spot over numerous years. So if you find a dragon, move in slowly and gently and enjoy observing it. But don't get too close. Stay back far enough to allow the dragon to move around if it wants to. If you're in a group of more than 2, take it in turns to move in a bit closer to observe it. Don't let the whole group surround it. Also try not to sandwich it between you and your buddy. And remember, move in slowly and gently, and leave the same way, being aware of where the dragon and other marine life and habitat is when exiting so you don't impact it. Importantly, if a dragon shows signs of moving away, or worse, climbing in the water column, these are signs that it is stressed and not happy about your presence. If this happens, back off and observe from a distance or leave it alone. For photographers and videographers, all of the above applies. Plus, if the dragon is not in the right position for your composition, don't chase it or try to turn or hurt it. Sit still and wait. Let the dragon get comfortable with you being there. It may take some time, 5 minutes or so, but usually they will be cooperative subjects. That said, if you're using strobes, don't abuse the privilege by overflashing the dragon. 5 or 6 shots is okay, but then let it rest for a while before taking more shots. You can use the time to review your photographs in the back of your camera, so you can check and reset camera settings or strobe positions. Again, if the sea dragon starts to move away or up in the water column, it's time to leave it alone. Now for videographers. Modern LED video lights are quite powerful and are very bright. We should limit the amount of time dragons are exposed to video lights. I've seen instances where dragons have been in front of bright video lights and they haven't moved away. I have no doubt the dragon was stressed, but it was probably so badly blinded he didn't know where to go, a bit like a stunned rabbit in the headlights. Now I do all my sea dragon video work with natural light. It's not hard to get right, and it limits the impact on the subject. The bright LED light issue also extends to divers with torches. Of course, for night diving, lights are required so we can see. For photographers, use a red LED focus light, which will have limited impact on the sea dragon. Then apply the photography rules previously discussed. For videography of dragons at night, whether you're an amateur with a GoPro or the BBC, just don't go there, leave them alone. If you are new to underwater photography or videography, or want to learn how to get the best results from your camera system, including photographing or videoing leafy sea dragons, feel free to make contact. So that's all from me. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you all at the next scuba in the pub.